The pictures that I'm putting up on the screen now are my 2007 Lexus IS250. It's a good looking car, you know, but what if we could do something a little bit better with the shape of the body, just enhance it that a little bit. And in this episode, that's exactly what we set out to do. I'm going to put a front lip on, a rear lip on, a lip spoiler for the boot, and a roof spoiler. I think you'll agree by the end of the video that the relatively little work that I've had to do for this, and a bit of painting, a bit of trial and error, a bit of mishaps here and there, but ultimate triumph I think is worth it, based on the end look of the car. Now, I must admit, there's not the full clips. I'm not going to take you through the full painting process and blah blah. I can't risk getting paint on the camera. If you're in the northwest, you know that it rains all the time and I don't have a unit. Subscribe so I can get a unit, please, and make some more YouTube money and get a unit. I won't be changing what I do, I'll just be doing it with a roof over my head. That would be great, thank you. But I've tried to include as much of the process and bring you along for the ride as much as I could. So let's get into it. This is an OEM SR Sports rear lip. I wanted like a more Jap style one, but you can't get them over in the UK, you just get those stupid stick-on diffusers. So this is the best I could find. And then the front is like a VIP JDM style lip. Again, the ones that you usually normally get in the UK aren't very nice. They're a bit chavtastic in my opinion. Now please don't get offended if you have one, that's just my opinion. I'm sure your car looks great with it fitted, but it's not for me. So I've got just a smooth front one. So that was fine, that was gel coat. I just scuffed it with 320, put some plastic primer on it, like a plastic adhesion promoter, and then some normal primer, and that's done. I just need to sand that down with some 600 grit, which I will do, and then it's ready for paint at the weekend. This rear lip needed a bit of work, so I have fillered bits where appropriate. Look, I don't need it to be perfect, the rest of the car isn't perfect, but I just don't want any big, it had a few big sort of like chunks out of it. So I've used some plastic filler, and then some high build primer once that was sanded down. Whole bumper scuff with 320. I was just going to paint over this, but what I might do is, because there's bound to be a bit of build up where this high build primer is, where I've put it on in the middle and dusted it out to the edges, I'm going to sand this back now with some 320, and then I'm going to prime the whole rear lip. I'll only do like 2 coats of this, and then it's ready for sanding down as well, same as the front lip, and then I can paint them both on the weekend. Now I'm doing this outside because it's just primer, so any dust it gets sanded down anyway. For the actual paint, I'm going to set up a spray booth, and I'll try and film as much of that as I can, but I won't be able to film inside doing the actual painting really. I'll do it for maybe a couple of seconds and I'll have to take you out because I don't want paint getting on the camera. But anyway, I haven't filmed too much of the prep stage to this. It's kind of been, I've just been doing 20 minutes here and there, and it's quite monotonous. But yeah, let me show you a bit about what I'm going to do on this rear lip. Yeah, now you've watched just a snippet of what I've been doing. 2 coats is fine on this, it's covered really well. I don't want to put another coat on, I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to knock this back. I mean, it's laid down really well actually. Look, it's not going to be perfect. The paintwork isn't perfect, but I think it'll look pretty good. It'll match with the rest of the car being a 10-footer. But I was just making sure on the ends of these, which is what you're going to see in the actual rear arches, that I was getting enough paint on there. So it seemed a bit hard to do with when the can was running out, the first can you saw me use, but with this like new can it was fine. I could spray like upside down with it without it sort of, you know, sputtering or anything. So I think I'll just make sure when I'm actually painting with the colour, I'll dust that first. Dust that end first, dust the other end first with each layer, and then I can just do the rest. So looking forward to seeing how the actual colour lays down on this. Like I said, I'm going to do that inside. I'm going to buy a mask and whatnot. But yeah, so I just need to sand this with 600. Some people say wet sand it, some people say dry sand it. I guess it doesn't change the grit, it just slows down the rate of, you know, sanding, I guess. But yeah, so I will do a bit more research on that and sand this and the front lip, and then, like I say, it's ready for paint. The prep is going to be the longest part, and I'm unsure whether I'll get both of the lips on this little trestle that I've made from these IKEA table legs that I picked up for a £5 off Marketplace. If I'll have enough room, you know, to do both of them. But we shall see. Okay, well, here's the setup. I don't think I can show you painting. There's nowhere to actually fit my tripod with me still having room to get around. It's going to be tight as well, like, ugh, without touching anything. But I've sheeted up everywhere. Neighbour's shed. I mean, look, there's a bit of gap at the bottom, but it's mainly to stop dust off the walls and the ceiling, which I have masked up, falling onto it. So I've got lights in the corner. Woo! I wet sanded this down. It's obviously gone through on the edges, but it should be fine. It's still got adherence. So I am going to wipe this down like dry wipe. I'll degrease it with some panel wipe, and I'll use a tack cloth and then spray 3 light coats of the colour. 10-15 minutes in between. It's pretty warm here, I don't need the heater. Sort of 10-15 minutes after that I'll start spraying a couple of coats of clear coat with the 2K lacquer that I've got. So yeah, I'm going to get some foam under this so it raises it up. I'm good to go. So go set up, and then I'll come back in when we're done and show you the results from the gun. Not from the gun, from a can. Well, today I have learned a lesson. Metallics do not lay down the same as normal stuff. I've painted normal paints and clear coats and stuff, and it's always come out pretty decent, really. You know, need a bit of polishing afterwards, but comes out pretty good. But yeah, not too good. A lot of, like, obviously there's orange peel and mottling and whatnot, but the mottling's pretty bad. Like, it looks patchy, and I kind of rectified it towards the end. I learnt, like, about, you know, kind of coming back a bit and misting, doing a mist coat, and, like, for instance, it looks quite bad here. Obviously it is really orange peel, so once it's a bit clearer and polished and wet sand and stuff, it'll look a lot better. But like, if you look at this has come out insane, really, from the, not from the gun, from the can. Like, the top and all along the top of the front one looks really good. So I'm, like, quite happy with that. Like, look at that, it looks pretty decent, really. But then, yeah, look at it, you can really see it here. It's really mottled. But yeah, that's what you learn. I didn't learn that metallics do that, and by the time I did realise, I was nearly out of paint. So, and it's a metallic, and I don't really trust Halfords to mix it up to match with the batch that I've got. So yeah, you live and you learn. I thought maybe the clear coat might fix it. And it has to an extent. It looks obviously a lot better. And when you don't have the light on it, it don't look as bad, you know. But it's low down on the car. You know, I'm not going to see it too much. And hopefully, once I've wet sanded it and the reflection's a lot better, and polished it, then it'll look a bit better. But yeah, this is the reality of working on your own car. Sometimes it doesn't really go how you want it to go, and I'm not sanding it down and starting again because I'm not sheeting this all up again because this took hours. So I think next time when I get I want a roof spoiler and a lip spoiler, I think I might just pay someone to do it. It's not going to be too much for them, but I like to give stuff a go. It's not that I won't pay, it's just I just thought I've painted bits before, it'll be fine. But again, you live and you learn. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this in the neighbour's shed kindly overnight, let it dry. So it's touch dry. I've opened the, you know, I gave it 15-20 minutes after the last coat, and then opened the shed to like let it vent out and stuff. I'm going to leave this overnight so it's like touch safe, and then I will, don't know if I'll fit it tomorrow. I might try, depending on how touch safe it is. I'll try and fit it, and then once it's on the car, obviously I can give it a week or two, and then I can wet sand it once it's gassed out. Okay, here's what it looks like on now. From a bit of a distance away, it looks alright. There is, however, a bit of a nappy gap here. Might have to put some Tiger Seal on that and press it in. It looks alright from, you know, a bit away. There's a gap here as well. Now this is cable tied on for now, down here. What I am going to do is I've got some metal to make a bracket which will kind of pull this out, and when I pull that out it actually gets rid of a lot of that gap, so yeah, that'll be a lot better. Did use some tape to try and pull that gap in, but I think just the fitment of this, because it's already been on a car that I wasn't meant to be on, is just not perfect. The paint looks, I mean, the car is absolutely like disgusting, but I have not had time to wash it because I've been busy for the weekends, and now the sun sets at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. I can't do it after work, so that's annoying. So yeah, the paint looks alright from a distance. What I'm going to do at some point, because it isn't as reflective, is I will wet sand it and polish it. I just need to get some smaller, maybe like 1-inch polishing pads, see if I can get like an adapter for my polisher, just so I can really get in the creases, otherwise I'm not going to be able to get some of the sanding marks out. Same story with the front. Again, excuse the absolute state of the car, like, yeah, that is bad. It's going to get sorted this weekend, but the front lip looks pretty good on. So it really changes the front end, and once I change that grille to a mesh one that's kind of like the same as the bottom, it's going to look a lot better. But the front end, obviously I need to polish the headlights and, well, I'm going to wet sand them and lacquer them. But it does really sort out the front end of the car. And again, paint needs wet sanding, but it looks pretty good, I think, anyway. Fitment is, again, not 100%, but this one was an eBay lip, so you know, there's a tiny bit of gap there, but it is what it is. A bit hard to see because it's kind of overcast, but I really think it helps with the shape of the car. But yeah, I think it looks good. So, to go with that theme, I've also got a little roof spoiler. I had to import this from Ireland because the guy I workshop it to, he's in Ireland, and he'll only ship to Ireland or Northern Ireland. But it's all the ones you can buy on eBay, just like little strips. I've got like a big one, well, big comparatively, it's all relevant in it, boys. And then like an OEM SR style little lip spoiler, and I've test fitted these and they look amazing. Really transforms the back end, and then the back end is going to be pretty much where I need it. Just need some different tail lights and an exhaust making up, and then the back end's going to be So I've got roof spoiler and a lip spoiler, and I'm going to start prepping them. So I'm hoping, I've left it a bit late, but I'm hoping I can get these in primer today, which is a Friday, and then I can paint them on the Saturday, then they're ready to fit on the Sunday, with like 24 hours curing time between each thing. So the roof spoiler is just fiberglass, and it's going to get, well, I'm going to tape this off, and this is going to be Tiger Seal on basically. It's very light. It's not, again, fitment isn't 100%, but it is what it is. The car isn't 100%, as I've said a million times. Lip spoiler. Again, fitment isn't 100% on this, but I'm going to probably put some double-sided tape and Tiger Seal on this. Hard to tell, and I've just literally thrown it on loose, but I think it looks pretty good. And again, that's going to get painted, so just adds that little bit to the back. Better than the ducktails, which kind of just sit on top, because you can see the end here and underneath the boot as well. So yeah, with the roof spoiler and that, the side profile is going to look real good, and the back's going to look exactly how I want it. So let's get prepping this, and then I can start getting it ready for primer. Firstly, I'm just focusing on the mating surfaces that's going to actually stick onto the boot. So there was like, from the injection moulding process, I assume there was some big tabs like left over, so I just cut them straight off, and then I used a pretty aggressive sandpaper. I think it was like 180 grit to kind of prepare that surface so that it would actually stick. Then I moved on to sanding the actual surface that's going to get painted. I believe from memory I did this with like 400 grit, and yeah, just making sure that I'd got an even scuff up in a few different directions on all of the surfaces that were actually going to get painted. I did this on both the boot spoiler and the roof spoiler. Once I've done this, I always make sure to sort of rinse the part off, make sure it's dry thoroughly. Then I use some isopropyl alcohol or panel wipe to wipe it off, make sure it's clean of grease or contaminants. Then I tack cloth it, and then I spray this plastic adhesion promoter or plastic primer that you see me spraying on, and that kind of just enables the primer to bond properly and actually like stick to the surface, and then we can get onto the actual primer. Okay, we've got the lights out. I've just plastic primered this, and I have been heat gunning it. It's pretty cold, like it's not ideal, but it's primer, so as long as it sticks okay, then the finish doesn't have to be good. I'll set up the booth, oh God, and hang these when I have space to hang them when I come to spray these, so that'll be fine for that. Yeah, as of now, I'm going to put the camera away. It's cold, battery's nearly dead. You can't see anything because of this contraption. And I'm going to primer these. Right, not sure if I can focus on that, but you can see those little bits. They're not actually bits in the paint, they're like tiny little pinholes. So I'm going to put some, I think I've got some dolphin glaze. If not, I'll put some traditional filler on it. Just on the very edges, real carefully, and then I will, well, I'll real quickly sand it down, and then I'll do that. And then I can re-primer just the edge. Hopefully I can get this painted today. I really want to do it. I don't know how I'm going to hang this, is the question. I want to hang it in my shed because I don't have space to paint it kind of, you know, flat. Maybe I can like hot glue gun, you know, some lines onto the back or something. I don't know, we'll figure that one out. But yeah, okay, so I'm going to crack on with fillering this. My battery's about to die. I'm going to put you on charge and I'll see you when I've filled. Alright, well, my camera seems to have deleted the footage of me polishing that, but basically I polished it and got it ready after painting. So I'm looking at it now, it looks so good on well, both of them look so good on the back of the car. I'll show you in just a sec. Actually came out a lot better this time. I learned from my previous experience, bad experience with the front and rear lips, but now, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I didn't go to town on wet sanding and polishing like the edges of some of the lips because I was scared of rubbing through, but it's come out really, really good. I will show you now. Alright, it is pretty dirty at the moment, but look at that. Pretty happy with that. Again, on the ends, I didn't wet sand like the very ends because it was going to be really hard to polish, and I didn't want to make it really difficult for myself, and yeah, it's a crap thing. And I did still get very slightly, like, not enough paint on the very edges, but if I don't have direct light on it, you can barely see. I mounted this with Tiger Seal on the roof spoiler. So just on this bit and all along the edge, and same on the other side. This bit sits flat, the other side sits a very tiny bit up, but it seems solid. It filled me with dread at first because I can kind of do that, but you know, it does seem to work, and Tiger Seal's good, and it seems solid. It seems like it's actually doing some sort of aero because water doesn't run down here anymore when I'm driving it. It sucks it back up, it's like a weird vortex effect. But anyway, the main thing is the look of it. Really adds that something to the back end, and with the lip. So again, I didn't wet sand the edges of this like loads, but the middle of it, it's got watermarks all over it and stuff at the minute because the car is grafted, because it's December in the UK, and because it's also December in the UK, it's 3 o'clock, that's why it's getting quite dark. But just wanted to show you guys how that looks now. Like the rear end looks so much better. Just needs, now the exhaust tips are lost, it just needs, it's in the plan, some big fat cannons hanging out of there and some different tail lights I want. But this rear end is really starting to look how I want it, and it looks really good. And that's side profile now. The roof spoiler, the lower lip and the lip spoiler just really tied it all together. And that's pretty much the bodywork that I can do, or want to do, or have been planning to do, done for now. You know, there's always little bits to keep up with. I could do with a new bonnet, it's got lacquer peel on it, blah 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 blah. But as I've always said with this car, from about 10 foot away, it looks great. And I really think that roof spoiler, when I first put just the roof spoiler on, I was like, wow, that just really enhances the rear end. But then when I added the lip spoiler on the boot, it just really sealed the deal for me. I really like the look of the back end of this car now. Like I said, just got to get some exhausts on and some different rear lights. Coming soon. Unfortunately, as I was doing all this bodywork, I've done it over, you know, a couple of days here, a weekend here and there. Can't do anything after work because it's dark at 3 PM. My aircon compressor decided to break. It seized up. So it stalled the car, and then I figured out basically pretty quickly that it was seized up, so I've just disabled the aircon for now. And this has cost me a pretty penny to fix, but all the parts are here. I'm hoping to get it done this weekend. I'm filming this 12th of December,
Thursday, and I'm hoping that this weekend I can get it done. I might not get it re-gassed this weekend because I neglected to book it in because I didn't know whether I was going to get it done. But I will, if it doesn't rain, I will get the compressor on and I'm going to be filming all of that and what I've done to actually blow out the lines. And it might not work. There are some issues that mean it might not work. And I might have wasted the 470 quid just on parts and, you know, a bit more money on tools. But hopefully it will, so stick around for that. And there's also a little bit of BMW content coming to the channel, so stick around for that. Thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe, like the video, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.